everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Thank you for joining me for the third time this month to look into the astrology and numerology. And the first thing I do want to remind you is we are in a 9 month, in a 2 year, and it really feels like a nine. And also, how is Mercury retrograde treating you? Because I know the volume has been turned up internally and externally. So I always love hearing your feedback. Absolutely send me an email at podcast@soulsessions.me and check in. Today, we've got a lot more territory to cover. Not only will the sun be entering Sagittarius, Mercury will be retrograding back into Scorpio. We've got a Scorpio new moon, Saturn stations direct, Venus enters Sag, and more. So let's dive right in. On November 18th, Mercury will retrograde back into Scorpio. So it's stationed retrograde at 6 degrees of Sag, and now it's coming back into Scorpio. The volume changes, the rhetoric changes here because we go from rewiring beliefs and philosophies into really getting down to X-ray vision. And it can feel untrustworthy, betraying, paranoia can come up, projection. You can project, other people can project onto you. But the beauty of this is piercing clarity. Anything that you have felt like you've been uncertain or on the fence around the last couple of months, this is when clarity comes. And the clarity may come like, yes, I get it. I love it. I know. Or the clarity may come where, wow, this is so painful, but I can't unsee what I've seen. So just be very mindful. This is not a time for action. It's a time for internal clarity and really gathering data. On November 20th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, and I feel like this is a massive reset energetically. Even though we're coming to the end of the year, there's something in this new moon that feels like a reality reset, a reality check, and something that is very connected. This energy feels very connected to our future selves, our identity in 2026 and the evolution of our identity in 2026. And what I mean by that is this moon truly reveals internally who we are. And the question is, what are we going to do with that information that's revealed to us? I also feel like this moon is two-faced. What I mean by this moon being two-faced is it either empowers us and can empower you and me to be on my soul's path, to be on my soul's journey, to be authentic and true and in the highest integrity. I mean, it really feels like all of these old narratives and storylines, like this is another climactic moment or opportunity to really step into a greater sense of frequency, a higher frequency and authenticity. And on the shadow side of that, the two-faced side, is it goes one of two ways. You either catapult into, I know who I am and I am here and I am empowered and sovereign and clear and authentic and capable and have these delicious God-given gifts and talent and meaning and purpose, like all of that clicks, right? Or on the opposite side of that, it's like when the villain is made. I mean, that's how this moon feels kind of like you either step into the light or you step into your darkness. And I mean, I feel like I'm being very dramatic when I'm talking about this moon, but this moon feels dramatic to me because it either feels like you devote to your soul level path or you slip right into the shadow of hiding the parts of you that you don't want to be seen, dishonesty, control as a response to your trauma, repeating sabotaging behavior, slipping into addiction and trauma and pain and blame and wounding and victimhood. And listen, we are human. We all can feel and experience those things. But this is the kind of moon where you make a choice. Do I step into the light? Whatever I focus on grows. That's the theme of the moon. It's two-faced. Whatever you focus on grows. And it can either come out in the highest expression of initiating yourself and being seen from your light, your beauty, your truth, or sinking into your shadow and allowing your shadow to dominate you. So, the kind of action you might take as far as setting intentions around this moon is really declaring like what's non-negotiable for you anymore, or getting rid of one mask or disguise that you wear. You know, if you spend time with your family, of course, the holidays are coming up. We've got in the United States, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. If when you spend time with your family, do you people please or acquiesce or put on a mask or a version of you just to keep the peace and be comfortable? Or can you just truly be yourself? So burn a disguise, name one of your disguises and see how you can change that. This is a time of really being honest with yourself and trusting in your light versus falling prey to the darkness. On November 21st, the sun will enter Sagittarius. And of course, happy birthday to all you Sages out there. It's like we go from this internal scorpionic period to where let there be light. And it's like, let there be light in a big, bright, adventurous way. So faith, it's like we get kind of this quest for higher ideals and faith and forward momentum and motivation, and vision starts to expand, openness, adventure, but also be mindful of being so impulsive and freedom seeking as the sun is in Sag that you're selfish and self-centered, or you're not mindful of other people's part in your story. So just be really mindful. But I do love it when the sun enters Sagittarius because it feels like we just get a shot of vitality and passion and vigor. And so it really will lighten the mood a little bit. After that, Saturn will station direct on November 27th. I told y'all there was so much going on this month. Like, it's exhausting me even going through all this energy because it feels like such a push-pull. And it's heavy. It's a lot. But remember, Saturn is moving pretty slowly most of this month. So Saturn will station direct on November 27th at 25 degrees of Pisces. Saturn retrograded July 13th, and it retrograded at about 1.5 degrees of Aries, July 13th. On September 1st, Saturn backed into Pisces. So what I would do in the days leading up to this, and this is all Thanksgiving, so you're probably not going to do any of this because you're doing family stuff. I will probably be doing this because this is the kind of stuff that can feel very karmic. So I kind of encourage you to, take a little time to journal in the days in and around Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving or wherever you are. But remember that with Saturn station direct, I would go back to September 1st and look at between September 1st and now, what has shifted and gone on in your life from a consciousness perspective and a spiritual perspective. And be really honest about where you have either dedicated yourself during that time to your mind, body, spirit practices, or you have gone into escapist mode, numbing mode, doom scrolling mode, addiction mode. And whether that comes in food or a relationship or alcohol and drugs, screen time, really get honest about the last couple of months. So that would be, actually 3 months, September, October, and November, and really look at what the deepest, darkest, unconscious truths that may have come up for you in that time frame. Because as Saturn stations direct and moves direct in the months ahead, remember, we still have Neptune retrograde in Pisces, basically just at 29 degrees, which is huge and foggy and creates a tremendous amount of uncertainty. With Saturn direct, we get a little bit of mojo. But the message was Saturn direct in Pisces, and especially in these last 5 degrees of Pisces before it re-enters Aries next year around Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day 2026 is when Saturn will re-enter Aries. Between now and then, if there was ever a time to create ritual, routine, and discipline in your spiritual life, it's now. And however that shows up for you, making sure that your spiritual enrichment and enlargement is part of your daily practice. That's probably the most important thing that I can share around Saturn direct. So on Saturn direct, like on November 22nd, do a little inventory and make a commitment or a recommitment to your consciousness, your spiritual investment, your energetic investment, and how you can incorporate that or be devoted to it on the daily. On November 29th, Mercury stations direct. And like I said, I'll do a little podcast dedicated to Mercury retrograde and direct, but it stations direct at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So just remember the days, a couple of days before and a couple of days after, that's when the glitches happen and the delays and the mishaps. Let them go as easily as you can. Pack a little extra time in your schedule. But with Mercury stationing direct in Scorpio, it's very penetrating, meaning some more truths can be revealed. And if for some reason, energetically, relationship wise, whatever toxic and karmic has been working its way in and through you hasn't quite gotten your attention yet, or you haven't quite believed it, the end of the month is like a crescendo for that. So just be aware. And lastly, we close the note with Venus on November 30th entering Sagittarius. So we've got the sun in Sag, we've got Mars in Sag, and we've got Venus in Sagittarius. So we're fully in Sagittarius season. And I would say on November 30th, as you close the month out, commit to some kind of adventure between now and the end of the year. And I know that's funny because there's 1 month left of the end of the year, and we're in this 9-year of closure that seems to be getting more intense and tighter. And it's like the road is becoming more narrow. But with Venus in Sagittarius and entering Sag at the very close of this month, to me, it feels like this beautiful and loving commitment to the adventure of being human. So, on that note, and through all of this energy, and whatever shows up for you this month, become willing to put to bed any old stories that are keeping you playing small and commit to the now, who you are today, what you know today, where you are today, and your brilliance today, and recommit by the end of this month to the adventure of life, the adventure of being human. Faith in life itself, faith in yourself, faith in life. There's a lot happening this month. I'm sending you all courage, the ability to be honest with yourself and with others, and to remember that the cream always rises to the top. And that's the overarching energy of the 9. If you can move from a place of meaning and your integrity with an open heart and an open mind, you're good to go. And have fun. Have a little bit of fun. I think last but not least, probably because this energy is so intense, when the sun moves into Sag and we've got Mars and Venus in Sag, joy rises back to the surface. So make sure that you're incorporating some kind of joy and lightheartedness and levity into all of these dark nooks and crannies of yourself and your psyche and your psycho-spiritual experience, because the joy will dislodge and dismantle some of that heavy toxic energy a little bit faster, quicker. It'll just be more fun. Everything's more fun when we laugh. Take care. Be well, everybody.